Well, joining us now is Sean Sublette. He's a meteorologist with Climate Central, a science and news organization. He joins us via Skype from Philadelphia. Sean, you've had a couple of days to think about the power and might of Hurricane Michael now. What is your assessment of the kind of storm it was and the damage it did?
Yeah, this is truly a remarkable storm in every sense of the word for the United States, being the third or fourth strongest, depending on how you measure it, whether it is the depth of the pressure of the storm or the wind speed. Remember, the maximum sustained wind speeds with this cyclone, 250 kilometers per hour. And that's why we saw so much damage in that part of Florida, structural damage. And then, as you alluded to earlier on, there was damage from flooding and, unfortunately, loss of life from flooding much farther inland, all the way to the state of Virginia.
Yeah. Sean, is the storm's increased ferocity, you know, the fact that people went to bed the night before thinking it was only a Category 2, but they woke up to find that it was a strong Category 4 heading in the direction of a Category 5, is that part of climate change? You know, the fact that it built up so rapidly as it approached land?
Yeah, there is a little bit of evidence, and the studies on this are still very preliminary, that storms may have the tendency to undergo this rapid intensification very close to landfall. Again, I do want to caution that these studies are preliminary, but the fact of the matter is the water in the Gulf of Mexico was running a good 1 to 3 degrees Celsius above normal. And it's these warming ocean waters that fuel the hurricanes. And as you have a warming climate, you're going to have warmer oceans. So while we wouldn't say that this storm was caused by climate change, it was certainly made worse.
Now, today is International Day for Natural Disaster Reduction. What is the aim? And I might also say, what's the point, given the fact that this is a Saturday and most of the world is off today, not really paying attention?
Yeah, unfortunately, that sometimes can be the case. I think one of the things we need to do as global citizens is increase our resilience to natural disasters, especially these weather and, if you want, climate change related disasters, structural damage, flooding, very heavy precipitation on one end. And let's not forget, with climate change also comes the worsening drought situations. So in places that have water scarcity, that's also going to be a problem going forward in the decades to come.
Now, I was reading the document, it goes with the day, and the sub-theme of this day is reducing economic losses as they relate to global GDP or growth by the year 2030. You know, that is very wordy, Sean, isn't it? It doesn't mean much to me. I don't think it means much to anybody. I mean, wouldn't it be better having a sub-theme of, you know, act now or you could be in big trouble in 2030, something rather blunter?
Yeah, I think some of that stuff kind of gets lost unless you're a policymaker and you're able to read between the lines and communicate that to the general populace. And I think the overarching theme from that report is much like you said. We can solve the problem of climate change, but it's going to take a lot of cuts in global carbon emissions dramatically and rapidly, scaling up renewable energy rapidly, and ultimately finding a way to take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere. Otherwise, sea levels are going to continue to rise, and we'll see heavier precipitation in the storms that do develop.
Sean, you're an award-winning meteorologist. We thank you for coming on. Thanks very much.
Thank you, John.